Hey there! Welcome to my channel. My name's Elfbuggin, and if you haven't been here before, my channel is about finding my style as an illustrator and falling in love with my work again and just having fun, okay? So for this video, sadly my OBS is really blowing out the drawing because she has a highlight on her nose. She's a very pale character, so you can't really tell from my iPad being blown out on the screen, but if you came to this video, you came because I'm going to give it a cool title saying, how can you get to drawing like this? Okay, so we're just going to jump right into it, all right? This is just what I've learned as an illustrator. I'm not saying there's one right way to do anything or that you have to do it exactly how I'm telling you to do it. This is just what has helped me. So, number one, narrow it down, start somewhere. I know that sounds really simple, but please, I'm holding your hand when I say this because I needed to be told this. I was interested in so many different kinds of illustration that it's almost like every time I drew, I was like, oh my god, let me try to put it all in one drawing. Like texture, specific drawn anime eyes, crazy color palettes. Like I was thinking about it all at once every time I would do a drawing. And interestingly enough, that did not help me at all because when you're a beginner or when you're trying to improve your skills, like if you focus on too many things, you won't get better at it. And I did not used to think that. I used to think I could just do whatever I wanted and I'll be fine, which I'm sure after time, it's gonna happen, you'll get better at drawing. But if you want to get faster, then narrowing down what you want to do and starting somewhere is going to help you. So I'll try to explain that just a little bit more so it's not so general. When I drew this drawing specifically, I was like, I want a proportionate anime girl. I want thin lines. I want, I started drawing these kinds of anime eyes, with that dark shadow right here, because when I was looking at other artists, I was like, I really like that. I like the vibe of that. And you know what? There's a million ways to be drawing anime eyes. So it was really hard for me to narrow it down at first. And then a lot of my drawings looked kind of bogus because of it. Because I just didn't really know how I wanted to do it. I mean, if you look at my PNG tuber right now, she has completely different eyes. Somewhat similar, not really. In the sense of, you see that black shadow above the pupil? Yeah, but, now I don't do black. Now I do, the color of the iris on multiply. But anyways, that was very detailed. Yeah, so narrow it down. If you're trying to put too many styles together, you're gonna freak out. Or there was a portion of my illustration journey where I was I want to draw proportionate anime girls with rendered jackets and stuff like this kind of stuff, or shirt. But then I would find other art where it was cell shaded and it would look really cool, and it was solid color. Emphasizing the shape and the highlight would be a solid color too. But then I was stressing myself out because I would be making line art that's more suitable for cell shading, and then I would try to be rendering it on top of it, the stuff you see right here, and then I'd wonder why the line art looked weird with a blended value structure, because that looks horrible. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not telling you that you can't do different kinds of art, but when you're working on one drawing in particular, you really want to narrow it down. Start somewhere, what kind of proportions do you want? What kind of rendering do you want? And when you're a beginner, moving on to point number 2, actually, is focusing on one thing to improve each time. Okay, what happened? I erased something on here. I think I erased this. Hold on. Oh, just kidding. Okay, just ignore that. It says each time, okay? Focus on one thing to improve each time. So when I was first drawing, getting better at anime, just like the style, when it came to painting or cell shading or even the proportions at which I was drawing, I was focusing on too many things at a time. But besides narrowing it down, when you focus on one thing to improve each time, that's different, right? Yeah, narrowing it down is going to help you, but I would make it a intention, a purpose, a focus to make sure that the hands looked better in this drawing than the last one. you know? So specifically when I did this drawing, actually, I wanted to focus on a better anatomy. I feel like I don't really do like full bodies a lot unless they're chibis, and I wanted it to be like relaxed pose, standing pose, just chill. I do think this arm is a little stiff. Doesn't matter. The point is that I focused on one thing for this drawing to get better. And when you do that, you want to do it for like 2 weeks straight. Every drawing you do after that, you're focusing on the eyes, for example. There was a whole 3 weeks period where I just drew different anime eyes, or I drew different anime hands. I drew different proportions in relation to the head, you know? Actually, if you go to like my Instagram and all my past work, you can tell that everything's changing all the time. But that's because I'm focusing on what do I like? You know, am I liking these proportions? Am I liking this kind of eye shape that I'm choosing? And when I figure out what I like, when I narrow things down, I have like a toolbox of how I like to draw, whether that's like the line thickness or the rendering and stuff like that. But anyways, going back to number 2, when you're focusing on one thing to improve each time, not only are you becoming a better artist, but you're figuring out what you like to do at the same time. So 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. So like you want to narrow it down every time you draw, like what what style you want to draw. But then, for example, this is a proportionate anime girl. I'm going to focus on one thing to improve each time. So that might mean just because I'm focusing on the hands, like the feet might not look that good. But that's because I studied hands for the whole 3 or 2 weeks that I did it, you know? I looked up references of hands. I looked at other artists and the way that they draw hands. I just drew a hand and I looked at, do I like where I'm at with hands? What are the parts do I want to change? Do I want to change the fingertips of the hands or the size of the palm? Like, being very like aware when you're drawing instead of just drawing 100 drawings back to back, because I noticed with my progress when I was drawing just back to back to back to back, I wasn't really improving. And I was like, I thought you're supposed to improve when you're drawing if you just do a bunch. But really, if you're not focusing on what could be better, then that's why you're not improving. So this one in particular, I was focusing on the pose and the proportions of the whole body in general. So some things that fell to the side was maybe like the clothing rendering, or the skin rendering could be better. The lighting, like I didn't give it a lighting. I didn't give her like an ambiance. Like she's kind of just like I don't even know where the lighting is, to be honest. So like that's a good example of I focused on maybe the drawing structure of the pose instead of the lighting. But you don't have all the time in the world to do that. You don't have all the time to work on color harmony and proportion and then developing your style on top of that. Like you don't have time for that, right? So number 3 is reference. And everybody says this, but guess what? Nobody told me how to use reference ever. So I didn't understand the value of reference. So for example, for this drawing, this outfit that I drew, I didn't come up with that outfit, man. I went to good old Pinterest and I chose an outfit that inspired me, that I wanted to draw, and I just snatched the outfit off of Pinterest. But I'm not going to sit here and say I designed it with my blood, sweat, and tears, because I didn't. I'm saying very clearly when I post the drawing, I took the inspo of this outfit off of Pinterest, which a lot of artists do anyways. Okay, so for reference, you can use this for multiple things. This doesn't just have to be for that thing you're choosing to improve on for the drawing. Like if you were doing this drawing and you said you wanted your hands to be better, you don't have to just pull hand references. You can get an outfit inspo. You can get a color palette inspo. Like that's what reference is used for. You're supposed to use it, not just look at it. Or like sometimes I would pull references and I was like, I love this drawing or I love this outfit or whatever, and I would not apply it at all to my drawings. It was almost like I was just going on like a Pinterest hunting spree where I was like, I'm having so much fun, and then I didn't utilize the drawing or the photos. So like just like when you're focusing on what you want to improve or what you want to narrow down because you're doing it intentionally, like intentionally choose your references, because then your drawings will get better for that reason. Like, before I started drawing anime, I was using every single one of these tips to improve my other drawing skills that I feel a little bit stronger about, because I have more experience not drawing anime. And when I decided I wanted to get better at anime, I just, like, grabbed these 3 tips and applied it to anime. So another thing I want to say about reference is choose references that really, really excite you. Like, do I want to draw this? Am I going to be excited to draw this? For me, since this was a Meet the Artist post that I haven't finished yet, I wanted to pick an outfit that I would realistically wear, even if I didn't own it, which I know is, like, not that cool. I probably should pick an outfit that I actually have, but I didn't, because I liked how cool this outfit was, and it's my OC, it's my Sona, I can do whatever I want, right? Like, I don't care, and you don't have to care either. You can do whatever you want. Put wings on it for all I care. I actually really want to put some fairy wings on it. I think it would look really cute. Anyways, I digress. My extra bonus point is be super patient. So I feel like every time you pull up a video and you're like, how do I get better at drawing? Because I did the same thing. Like, how do I do it? Please give me the exact formula of how to get better at drawing. The truth is, yes, it just takes drawing more often to get better. But I promise you, literally, if you're more intentional when you draw, if you go into your drawing with a literal goal to get better at something, that's how you will get better at it. And then if you consistently do it, like when I sat down and drew anime eyes for 2 or 3-ish weeks, I got better from anime eyes because I sat down, I narrowed my focus on something, and I committed to it. Like, I showed up every day and I did it, But it did require me to be patient, because when you're bad at anything, when you're just starting anything is what I mean, you're usually really bad at it. And that has nothing to do with, like, you being a bad artist at all, or, like, not good enough. You just never drawn it before, so you can't expect yourself to be perfect. I'm crazy now to the point that when I want to draw something, like, if I'm like, oh my god, I want to start drawing animals now, I don't sit there and tell myself, like, oh my gosh, I've never drawn animals, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I literally tell myself, if I just study animal anatomy of whatever animal I'm focusing on, it will get better. And I used to never have this mentality when I first started as an illustrator at school, because I just kind of got discouraged a little too quickly. But if people normalized how bad you are at first when you try something new, then maybe other people would feel more willing and likely to try new things, try different kinds of styles. And I don't ever want to feel like you have to put yourself in a box when it comes to illustration. When you're learning as an illustrator and studying, try all the styles. Try whatever you want, because what's going to happen is you're going to draw enough that it's going to like accumulate into like a mixed style that you've created based off of your interests. So although my drawings continue to change and improve and definitely not stay consistent, there is a consistency with my hand. Like, you can tell that I was there because of the way I like to choose colors, and like even the content that I do, right? Like, I like fairies, I like pretty cute, fantasy things. And I still use a lot of the same brushes that I used when I first started because I really like them. So being super patient with yourself and investing in yourself as an illustrator and watching your skills grow, like, these are the 3 things that have helped me grow the most, just starting with anime, which is something that I didn't have any experience doing at all before I started my YouTube channel. Well, okay, I did do the My Little Ponies, but the My Little Ponies were actually the first chibis that I had done, and I was utilizing these skills. Now, like, the last thing I'll say, like, if you're like, man, I'm using these tips and I still can't draw as good, Elfbuggin, why are you lying? These are tips, like, after you've developed your observational skills when it comes to drawing. If you're struggling to draw, like, a still life in front of you, or, like, just anything observationally, so what that means is, like, a cup in front of you, somebody in front of you, a tree, an animal, like, from a photo, then these steps actually should not be used when it comes to developing a style or a character, because you're going to struggle a lot more, like, developing your own characters, whether they're anime or not, if you don't have that foundation of drawing skills. So if you're not there yet, then I would recommend, like, for a good 6 months, I'm not even kidding, like, just drawing everything that's in front of you, your pets, your family members, the furniture in your house, and getting it as accurate as possible before you start, like, developing things. Now, there's no right or wrong way to do stuff, okay? There are people who don't take that advice, and they just do whatever they want to, and it still works out. But, I mean, now that I'm just focusing on having fun with characters and drawing what I want to draw, I don't have to worry about, like, drawing, for example, the clothing reference. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a jacket, you know, and I'm just like, you know, blah, 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 jacket information, and I'm looking at the photo, and I'm not having a tough time. I mean, obviously this drawing looks, like, really stiff right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I can draw kind of what's in front of me and not worry about the accuracy so much because I have the observational skills behind it to do that. That's such an ugly drawing, but, like, you get the point. But anyways, I want you to know that you're totally capable of doing this, and you're totally capable of drawing whatever you want to draw. Like, do not limit yourself to what you're interested in drawing, okay? If you have the will, and if you have the drive and the motivation to take it one step at a time, I promise you, you will be able to do it. And when I started utilizing this method, especially with anime, which is something I was really scared to start drawing, every little improvement, I felt like 10 times more interested in drawing again because I saw myself improving. And it's, like, addictive. Like, when you see yourself doing better, like, you just want to keep going. You don't want to stop, you know? Honestly, if I could just do YouTube full-time or, like, commissions full-time, I would constantly be learning new ways to draw stuff because I'm just addicted to it now. Beforehand, I wasn't. I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I was wasting my time because I didn't know how to properly study. But once you know how to study and, like, really focus in the direction you want to focus, you'll start seeing, like, genuine improvement. The kinds of improvement you see on TikTok when people say they've only drawn for a month, and it's because they were, like, intentionally studying. So, I hope that helped. I've never kind of given, like, a how-to video. This is, like, my first one. I don't know, I'd have to check YouTube again, I'm sorry. But, like, this is my first video I've ever done with, like, unsolicited advice, and I hope it helped any of you guys watching. So, if you liked the video, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. If not, that's totally fine too. I appreciate the view. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. I will respond, and I will help you as much as possible. I love talking to people about their art journey and any, like, things they're struggling with, or even questions about, like, other things with art. I will answer them. And if there is a video you want me to do, like maybe talking about something else with art, I haven't done tutorials yet, so you'll have to be patient with me. I'll try to figure out how I want to format that. But even then, if you have a suggestion that I can keep in mind for the future, please feel free to let me know. But that's it. That's the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!